News live in 3. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. First on the docket, Venezuelan Nobel Peace Prize winner misses ceremony but vows to continue the struggle. The daughter delivers the speech, with Nobel Institute saying Maria Corina Machado still expected in Oslo after the journey of extreme danger. Remember who this woman is. We'll get into that. Venezuela's most prominent opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, has vowed to continue her struggle to free the country from years of obscene corruption. Now, remember, this is the same lady that says that she's going to turn Venezuela into a money-making machine and actually give the money back to the people. Now, I believe that there is more of a puppet aspect to all of these leaders that they want to put in. Instead of the, dictators that are presiding, they want to instead put puppets instead, which again, choose your pick, right? As far as the 58-year-old conservative has lived in hiding in Venezuela since its authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro, is accused of stealing the 2024 presidential spot, right? So again, with that being said, obviously same systems have been doubted in other countries. We all know this, right? Well, this woman essentially has been in hiding. They say she's in Venezuela, which is kind of crazy that she is actually there. A lot of folks thought that she had left already, despite fevered speculation that she would make a dramatic appearance at Wednesday's event, having somehow slipped out of Venezuela. Machado was not present, although she is expected to arrive in Oslo in the coming hours. In a lecture delivered by her daughter, Ana Karina Sosa Machado, the former congressman and veteran pro-democracy campaigner pledged to continue leading Venezuela on its long march to freedom. Remember, they want to put, insert here, she's going to work with BlackRock and all of these other companies. And of course, she's going to bring the oil and the business back to Brazil. Or I'm sorry, to Venezuela. So again, this all ties together with everything that's going on. We're going to get into it. And again, change my mind that this is happening. We'll talk about that here in a second. Again, I believe we are under attack. Again, that's my belief. I'll go into that in just a second. But before we do, remember to go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Again, if you member, I just cut off the remember to also use the code MARF, because you are going to get the Black Friday sale 25% off, and you are going to get our $50 off grandfathered in discount. Again, that will give you $50 off per device. So again, that adds up very, very quickly. One device 50, two 100, three 150, and then 25% off on top of that. So that is not going to go forever. That is the Black Friday sale, which is still going as of now. marfooglenews.com/EMP, and make sure to use the code MARF. All right, let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
Okay, so this is the one that this is yet another puzzle piece. I have gone into this 1,000 times now. There are very few new people here. We, of course, honestly, when you talk about the hardcore people that are here every single night, normally something like that on YouTube would grow. I honestly, you hear a lot of people complain about this and that. I don't. But what I will say is we're not getting anywhere by talking about our crazy theories and, of course, telling you guys what I truly believe is going on. This is another part of the big puzzle that I think that is going on right now. U.S. is planning to order foreign tourists to disclose social media histories, including phone numbers called, everything. And again, social media is now tied in directly into your phone, tied into the texts you send, to the messages. If you have Facebook on your phone, Facebook literally tells you, hey, we look at everything. We look at your phones, we look at your texts, we look at the pictures, we look at everything. So they are now declaring that they want to get into foreign tourists' phones. This, I believe, is because they believe I believe that they are literally trying to stop some sort of huge event that is in the making. And this is all tying back to Eastern countries and, of course, to a taking of one Taiwan in the next year. Dex, what did you think when you saw this?
Well, look, this is a pretty big deal. It's also it's going to apply to visitors from 42 countries that these are countries that you don't necessarily need a visa to enter. You can just use an electronic system for travel authorization or an ESTA, like Britain, France, Australia, Japan. and other countries that we have sort of easy entry for. So, under the proposed new rules, the collection of social media data would become a mandatory part of the ESTA application. So, they would provide their social media histories for the last 5 years. They would have to submit other high value data fields, including phone numbers for the last 5 years, email addresses from the past decade, personal details of family members, and biometric information. And the administration has tightened curbs on entering the United States as part of its sweeping crackdown on migration, as they say. But I think, as you were saying, Adam, this is something specific probably to security and beefing up that security in all of the areas in which people can just enter the country. Now, we also next year have the World Cup coming, and it's going to be in Mexico, Canada, and in America, significantly in America. So that's going to bring in just a ton of ESTA travelers. So it'll be interesting to see if this goes into place, I'm assuming it will, then how does that play out, and how does it work with everybody coming in? And do they have any trouble, or is it all automated?
Okay, so this is, and most of you are probably like, this is a huge deal. Some of you might even be saying, like, this is absolutely, a violation of this, violation of that. Remember, this is from people from outside of our country coming in. So this is a serious measure of, obviously, a lot of people are going to have something to say about this, especially since it is this administration. You're going to have, of course, saying that it's against this and against that. Serious measures come when serious things are happening. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I think that this is because they are literally scoping out and trying to stop some sort of big event that they are too, again, scared to tell us about. This is a massive, massive event that's happening right now, and it all ties back into China and Taiwan. Now, if a lot of people don't realize how big the China and Taiwan thing will be to the world, but essentially it's having the ocean as their playground if they take Taiwan. Taiwan has always been kind of a fenced off area that also prevented China from being right out and about and having this kind of blockade in front of all of their prowess. Japan is highly concerned about this for good reason. They are just, in double digits of miles from their islands to Taiwan, and then the line goes straight up to Japan. They are afraid that once they take Taiwan, that they could move their sights forward, that they could put their hypersonics and their missiles right there in Taiwan and actually move their entire prowess out. Not to mention, the control of trade is going to become huge in the future. Every single one of the routes is now being held down either by force or by military force. Again, Panama Canal, all of these things are being put into play. And here's what we're looking at. We're looking at China's huge yank to try to become number one. And people do not realize how crazy it has gotten. And a lot of people say, oh, they got nothing on us. Well, unfortunately, there is a document that just came out that says that's not the case. Now, as far as this 60 days to comment on the proposal, they're not saying that they have 60 days to fight this or whatever else. They have 60 days to comment on this proposal. Comment. Again, most of the time we see that being used is in times where they're not going to get this thing reversed, right? So there's very little when they go into court and they say, well, this isn't American citizens they're doing this to. This is people coming into our country. And if we require it, it's kind of like, hey, if somebody doesn't want a certain type of person working there, hey, it's their company. Or if they don't want this thing being done on their platform, then that's their prerogative. This is my screen name. Nice to see you again. Again, thanks. And I hope that you and your wife are doing well. I hope both of you are doing awesome. And I hope that it is awesome down where you are. All right. And then this is absolutely crazy. Again, we're going to talk about in a minute over on the other show. Again, that document that came out says that China would destroy us. First of all, though, Trump's warship sees Venezuelan oil tankers, sparking blockade fears of serious escalation. Now, we just covered over the last couple days that they actually flew in 2 jets into the actual airspace of Venezuela. And right now, there's a lot going on. As we talked about the opposition, they're totally prepping her in the public eye. Meanwhile, right now in Venezuela, they're talking about a possible land attack soon, and they're, of course, testing their defenses. So this is a big deal that they're actually going on to and apparently or allegedly taking on oil tankers, right? It says escalated after the administration seized an oil tanker off the coast of Latin American country. Now, this also has a lot to do with Russia and all of their allies. And of course, seizing an oil tanker is seizing somebody's, basically a part of their wallet. Officials did not say precisely where the operation was carried out, and the name of the oil tanker is not named. Of course, once it is, I'm sure that all of the media will be all over that to attack the president. The move sent oil prices climbing sharply on Wednesday with Brent crude. I'm telling you, man, I think they have AI writing all of this, unless that is a real thing. Brent, anyways, rising 1.21% and $62.69 a barrel amid fears of an escalation that could disrupt global supply. Venezuela is one of the largest suppliers of oil to China, which has been the destination of between 55% and 90%. Again, this ties all back to China. Now, the deal with China, everything that is coming out in the documents absolutely verifies exactly what I've been saying. If not, it is a major event that will happen in our country. It is a massive, massive cyber event that will freeze us or at least delay us for 48 to 72 hours. This is all about taking Taiwan. Everything that's going on with Venezuela, everything that's going on with Russia, and people could think, how could all this be tied back to one country? This is all because they are reposturing and trying to take number one spot. It is Xi's goal. It is literally his life meaning. He has to do this to gain back respect from certain people in his circle and from his family. He literally has a goal that he has to, before he dies, to take Taiwan, to reunify it, and to basically correct wrongs over the past. More and more is coming out on this, and I've studied China a lot in this, obvious craziness that's going on. And I'm telling you, right now is a crazy, crazy time to be alive. We are going to see the most crazy stuff. And now they are starting to agree with something I've been saying for 2 years, that mid-2026 is going to be the time when this all kicks off. The reason why is because more and more information is coming out about the way that we are going to stop it. We'll talk about that in the next show. We're going to talk about how these war games have played out, and unfortunately, it has us losing. Now, there is an answer to this, and this is something they are directly doing right now. So obviously, they took this seriously, what was going on in those documents. We'll talk about that top secret document that is being talked about in the next show, so make sure to follow us. If you are in the chat, just stay there. You'll be ported over. If you're watching the replay, all you have to do is click here. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
True.